Jesse Allen here for Market Talk. Catch it up now with John Long, retail product agronomist with Brevant Seeds. John, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Hey, I'm fantastic, John. Appreciate you joining us here today on Market Talk. And we got to talk a little bit about harvest prep. But before we get to that, tell us a little bit more about your position and your role at Brevant Seeds and a little bit about the area of the country you cover, John.
Sure, I can sure do that. Yeah, I'm a retail product agronomist with Brevant Seeds. So my responsibilities are to work with our mini retail salespeople and train them about the placement characteristics of Brevant hybrids and soybean varieties. And I also get the chance to go out if we do have any sort of issues with growers and walk fields and help the retailer kind of solve the problems, any issues that might be out there, and educate the farmers as well.
Perfect. Well, talk about what kind of season it's been in your area, how close you are to harvest, because we know that it's been a case of haves and have nots throughout the entire U.S. here throughout the growing season, John. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your area?
And sure, and to my area, I cover southwestern Iowa. So, boy, the have and have not, we probably planned into the driest conditions in my entire 30-year career. It was really kind of touch and go to make sure we could even germinate seed to get out of the ground. Throughout the summer, then we've had some variable weather. We've had some days of excessively hot weather. We've had some timely rains. But as I kind of tour around the areas that I work with, a majority of the folks are going to have a pretty solid crop. They got rain right at the right time, and things look pretty good.
Well, John, what are some of the most important things that farmers need to think about here as they prep for harvest, which we know is right around the corner?
Sure, that's a great question. So as we think about that, and I talked about the topic of with that throughout the summer, we had some different stresses hit, some heat stresses, and some drier weather with those timely rains. But with that being said, that has probably caused undue stress on corn plants, especially, and will likely see cannibalization of the stalks to maintain the ears that we've had. So some of the stressed corn may not be able to stand out there real late into harvest. So probably be a good idea to check fields and see what the stalk integrity looks like, and make sure you schedule those things that way. Also, we've got some warm weather here ahead. We've had a very warm late summer. So when soybeans are ready to cut, it's going to be really, really essential to be out there cutting them, because I have the feeling they're going to go from prime moistures around 12.5 to 13%, probably down to 8 to 9 overnight.
Yeah, we have to think about that. The conditions, with some more heat, really going to be kind of getting to a point where that dry down is going to happen in the field, and that's going to be a real big thing as we head to put things in the bin, because we won't have to use a lot of propane and do a lot of that drying, as just the way the weather has been. It's going to make it really easy for us to try and get that crop out of the field, John. At least the way it looks right now.
Oh yeah, I have some growers that are already taken hand shelled samples of corn that last week was in the upper 20s, and with warm weather ahead, I don't think it won't be very long here until we see corn approaching that 20-21%, where a lot of growers will dive in and really start taking it. Also, in my travels the last few days, some of the earliest soybeans are getting harvested right now. So I would tell you that in the next 7 to 10 days, you're going to see a lot of harvest activity starting across Southwest Iowa.
Well, John, any other final thoughts just for kind of that checklist for harvest prep that you want to share with us here today on Market Talk?
Sure. I would tell folks that again, as they look at products during harvest, to evaluate how products did across their acres, and look at things like standability, and also the yield maps, and that'll help you make good decisions for next year.
Well, I know folks can go to Brevant.com to connect with their local Brevant Seeds representative and agronomist as well. And with that, retail product agronomist John Long with Brevant Seeds, thanks for joining us this week on Market Talk. We'll look forward to chatting with you again next week. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you. It was great to be here.